Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today we're going to do a video I've seen a lot on Instagram and TikTok, and that is if this author writes it, I'm going to read it. So these are kind of my auto-buy authors. Whatever these authors decide to write, I will read no matter what genre, what it is. I'm going to read it because I like them that much. They're probably pretty obvious. Everybody can have different ones. These are just mine. So let's just dive right on in. First up, of course, Taylor Jenkins Reid. I have read every Taylor Jenkins Reid book. It does not matter what she writes. I will read it. If she decides to just go on a wild hair and write kids' pictures book, I will read it. If she decides I'm just going to write recipes for the rest of my life, I will use those recipes and I will read them like they were the best things ever written. I love Taylor Jenkins Reid. Now, do I love every single one of her books the same? No, but no matter what, I get something out of her books and I love and adore them. I've done a whole video of ranking her books. I have favorites. We all have favorites. Taylor Jenkins Reid always just is number one for me, in my opinion. Next up, you might be thinking I'm going for, you probably can't see, but right here is my Kristen Hanna selection. And I'm not going to grab that. And the reason is, it's because I thought about putting her on this list. And I was like, no, because there are some books she's written that I will not read because they're just too freaking emotionally draining. I love her books. I have read 4 of them, and I have not even touched the extent of her backlist, honestly. But she writes some sad junk, and I lead a sad life. I mean, I don't want to sound like that, but my life's been pretty bleak for the past couple years, so it's like I don't like to invite more sadness into it, if that makes any sense. But I mean, thinking about it, I would read a lot of Kristen Hanna, but she just wrote I don't know. I have to be in the right mood. Anyway, moving on. And that is Ali Hazelwood. I have, yes, read every Ali Hazelwood book, and she has actually done different genres. Taylor Jenkins Reid has kind of stayed in like the 2 modes of like, she started women's fiction, now she's kind of going into like historical kind of things. I'm there for it. I love it. Ali Hazelwood started off in like the science romancy, and she has extended herself, and I have read every single one of her different genres. So she went to that, then she went to, she wrote a YA book, which I love. It's one of my favorites by her, honestly. She went into the paranormal world with Bride and Mate, which I, again, love. Then she kind of went into a new adult, kind of steamier, with like deep end. I love all of her books, honestly. I've only read maybe a couple that I haven't like loved and adored, but overall, I love them, and I will read whatever she writes. Again, if she decides to go write children's pictures books, I'll read them. Or middle grade books, I'll read them. I love them. They're amazing. Another author I love and adore, of course, is Abby Jimenez. I have read all of her books yet again, and I love her books. Her books, I will say, are more emotional. They're like kind of romance books, but they have a lot of emotional depth to them. They have that's kind of like their second part of it. Like romance is the main front, I would say, but there's a big underlying of emotional things, whether it be like losing someone that you love very closely, or dealing with anxiety, or her latest one was dementia, which was, oh my God, so freaking sad. Gosh, but her books are just beautiful. I will say she writes them very beautifully. Do they make me want to cry? Absolutely, but she writes amazing. I will say her latest book I didn't love. That's probably like one of my least favorites when I think about it. It resonated a lot with me because it was about dementia. We all know how close that is to me, but it wasn't, the rating was 100%, but still, I'm going to keep trucking with her because I love and adore her. Of course, again, another author I will truck with is Emily Henry. I have read all of her books. I have not loved all of her books, but I do really, really enjoy them. My favorite, Always Be Happy Place. I know. But I really adore her books. Again, her latest ones, this past year, I don't think was the year for Abby and Emily, sadly. It was a bummer on both fronts. It was Great Big Beautiful Life for Emily's, and she's definitely trying to take a different trajectory. I don't know if that's going to be the permanent thing in the future, but I'm still going to read whatever she writes because I love the way she writes, and I'm excited to see what she's going to do next. If she's going to continue doing different things, which I think is great, I will continue to be on with her because overall I love and adore her books. A newish author for me on this list is Charlotte McConaughey. I always have a hard time with that. I've read 2 of her books. I believe she has one other one, but she's an autobuy author for me because she writes so freaking beautifully. I'm sure everyone and their mother's favorite book, including myself, is Wild Dark Shore. It's haunting, it's eerie, it's a lot about climate. That I loved it. I actually just recently read Once There Were Wolves, about wolves and wilderness, and they're both beautifully haunting, and I just would love to read more. I think she's doing amazing with writing kind of mystery thriller, but also having the environment and nature as the main character and main forefront of her books. Chef's kiss, love it. So I definitely need to read more of her books. I'm one behind, but I will read whatever she gonna write because she writes beautifully. So moving into a totally different genre, thrillers. Riley Sager is, I don't know if he's my favorite thriller author, but he might as well be. I've read all of his books and I enjoy them. I enjoy every time he has a new release. Now, his newest release, again, like most authors this year, was a different one. It was kind of more historical, kind of very Agatha Christie-esque. That is not usually his books, but I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. And I will continue reading him because I enjoy his mystery thrillers. I get excited when they come out because I know I'm in for a good thrilling time. So he's written a lot and I will continue to read them. There hasn't been one yet that I'm like, I'm done with this author, because the majority of his books I do really, really enjoy. Next up is Sarah Adams. I have read most of her books. I haven't read all of them. I need to be better about that. But honestly, she's an autobuy author for me. She writes just the most adorable romance books that I've ever read. They are so cute. I love them so dearly. They're small town. The vibes are there. I adore them. The When in Rome is my favorite, as probably a lot of other people. I also love the Rulebook series. It's really just adorable, honestly. Here's the cheat sheet. I forget, but she's one that if I just want a cutesy romance time, I will turn to Sarah Adams and I will read her books no matter what she writes. Speaking of small town stuff, B.K. Borison. I have the Love Light Farm series, but it's all the way down there and your girl's tired. I love her books. I didn't think she would be an autobuy author for me, or an author that I would read whatever she writes, but she is one I love. I love the Love Light Farms. I love First Time Color. The second one, and this is coming out, it's very Nora Ephron. This one is very inspired by Sleepless in Seattle. And her one coming out, I think in January, February, is inspired by When Harry Met Sally, which is my personal favorite Nora Ephron film and perhaps my favorite rom-com of all time. So I'm so freaking excited. I love her books. I will read whatever she writes. If she decides she's like, I just want to write young adult books, I'll freaking read them. Recipes, I'll read them. Instruction manual to the dishwasher, I'll read it, okay? I will read it if she writes it. Last author I have on my list, it's not a very long list because I had to really think about it, is Frederick Bachman. I have his books. They're behind me somewhere. But I have read all of his books except for the last Beartown book because I just can't emotionally get to that one yet because I love Beartown so much. He writes, oh my gosh, things that make you feel. Very intense things. My favorites of his are Beartown, and honestly, he has a short story, and every day the way home gets longer and longer, which is resonating now with me more than ever. But he just writes very emotionally heavy but very beautiful books, and he writes very different. Like Beartown was about hockey, but then he has A Man Called Uwe, which is about kind of an older man like rediscovering his love of life and meeting new people, and they're just all so beautiful. I will read whatever Frederick Bachman writes. I'm so glad that I have read his books because I've learned a lot from them, and I can't wait to read more, quite honestly, because they're just they're so good. They're so hauntingly beautiful. I love them. But I mean, that's all the authors I can think of that, like, when I think about it, no matter what, I'll read their books. I was thinking like Grady Hendrix, but I'm like, nah, he could write some real scary junk and I maybe be like, I'm good. There's other authors like, I mean, Christina Lauren, maybe. They've wrote some YA books, but I haven't read them yet. So I'm like, could I put that on that list? I'm not quite sure. I don't know 100%. I don't know, maybe Meg Schaefer. I've read 2 of her books. Her third one's coming out soon, I believe. That could be one. It's just this is a hard thing because you have to really analyze and be very critical of like, what authors would I truly read everything from? What authors? So I had to really bite the bullet and be very brutal with it. So there you have it. Those are the authors that I would just read anything they wrote. Bottom line, if they write it, I'm going to read it. What authors are those for you? I would love to know. Let me know down in the comments below. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.